Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ian in the Magic Box. Today on our show, you're going to have Ian. Ian is from Glasgow in Scotland, in the UK. So let's see what Ian has to say. Enjoy the interview. Hello, Ian. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. And yourself?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this evening for the interview. Thank you.
You're more than welcome. You're more than welcome.
So
Literally
tell me.
dashing to get indoors. So I'm like running. Here we go. We're here. We're ready
Oh,
to.
thanks again for making the time last minute. Thank you.
No worries.
So tell me, how was your day today?
It was very good today. I've been very busy. I've been in a studio choreographing all day with some lovely students. Actually, been working with some students on a student production today. So it's been very full on, very busy, but a good, successful day.
Amazing. Okay, so let's start the interview, Ian, talking about, you are in the entertainment business, yeah? You have a podcast, you are a choreographer. So walk me through a little bit about your journey, how everything started.
Okay, so my journey, I've worked as a movement practitioner for over 30 years. So basically, I started off as a kid, I was actually a gymnast. So I was always throwing myself around left, right, and center. And I thought, maybe as I got a little bit older, maybe I should like harness those, crazy skills I had. And I decided to audition for some of London's sort of top performance arts colleges. And I was very fortunate to audition for a place called Doreen Birds, or Birds as it's called now, and win a 3-year scholarship because they're all private colleges. So I was very fortunate.
Wow.
And I went there and I studied in dance, ballet every day, jazz, tap, musical theatre, acting, all of that. And I was there for 3 years and I left and went into the industry in TV, film and theatre as a dancer, as a performer, and
Wow.
also as a choreographer. And over the next sort of 20 odd years, I would continue, well, the next 15, I would continue performing as well as choreographing. I sort of did both simultaneously. And
Right.
then in more recent years, in the last 3 years, I went back while still working as a choreographer and a lecturer. I've lectured in dance as well for over 20 years. And I went back and I decided to study also as an intimacy director and an intimacy coordinator because of
Wow.
obviously the world's changed a lot within TV, film, and theatre, especially since the Me Too movement. And now we have, a more robust system when working with intimacy in TV and film. And that can be anything from a medical scene to simulated sex to sexual violence. So I choreograph those the same as you would choreograph a tango or a contemporary piece. You're choreographing intimacy, and I now do that as well as still work as a choreographer. So that's been my journey, which has led me here over the last 30 odd years working in all of those areas.
My God, I love the whole journey. I love it. I think it's amazing for you to be able to explore different areas, in the business, which is exciting. I think it's like
Yes.
umbrella. There are so many ways for you to explore, And it's interesting actually saying about this intimacy. I never heard that term before, in this industry.
Yes.
It's amazing. And tell me where you're from, Ian.
Okay, I'm from England. I live in Scotland, so I'm currently in Scotland. I've
Uh-huh.
been living in Scotland for 20 years, but I was born in England and I was brought up I was born in Essex. So I was born in Essex, but I lived in London from like 16 years old. And I lived in SC1 London Bridge for many, many years. So I lived opposite Borough Market, but that's when Borough Market, a loaf of bread was 48 pence, not £7.60. Slightly changed since then, since I lived there. And I lived all over London, and I've been residing in Scotland for 20 years now, which I love. But I live here, but I work everywhere else. I work all over the world, and I'm in
Oh,
London.
and why Scotland?
Why Scotland? I love Scotland. Actually, my dad's half Scottish, so I used to come to Scotland a lot as a child.
Yeah.
I've been exposed to Scotland many times as a child because a lot of my family is Scottish. But I was actually up in Scotland working 20 years ago. I was choreographing a show. and I ended up staying. I fell in love with the place, and I've been here ever since.
Wow, amazing.
And it's much
Okay.
cheaper than London.
I bet for sure. And where's about in Scotland you are based right now?
I'm based in Glasgow.
In Glasgow. I see. Amazing.
Have you ever been?
Actually, no, actually, that's so interesting because I've been in England for so many years. But actually, I was talking to a friend of mine. He lives in Holland, and his birthday next month. I was like, why don't you come here? Let's go to Glasgow. Let's go to Edinburgh. I never went to Scotland before. So it's the top of my bucket list for sure. It's so close by. You know,
It
it's
is. I mean, you know, it's an hour flight, or you can jump on the train, get the fast train for like 4 hours and 29 minutes.
wow,
So
amazing.
yeah,
Great.
it's quick from London to here.
Ian, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
Let's go for it. Let's see.
Amazing. Welcome to William and the Magic Box.
Fantastic.
So I have here my best friend. Full of random questions. So what I'm going to do, I'm just gonna play a song just for us to relax before the first question. Okay?
Okay, go for it.
By the way, I'm so brave to be dancing in front of a professional choreographer right now.
Woo, bring it on. We love everybody. Everybody's a dancer. They've just got to allow themselves to be.
Totally. I just think it's about express yourself more than ever. Let's do it.
Are you dancing? I can't even hear.
Right, so before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about, don't want to answer, you always can change, okay?
No worries.
Right, first question is, when have you been the most happy?
When have I been the most happy? Oh, that's a really good question. I've had many, many moments of happiness throughout my life, and I've always been quite an upbeat person. Moments I've been most happy. Times I look back, really fond memories where I really think I was so grateful that I was able to experience that moment, was spending the last month with my dad before he passed away. I was the most happy then to be able to be in a place in my life that allowed me to be there, be present, and being able to be with him until he passed away. So that's possibly one of the most happy moments I've got in my life, because I feel very blessed to have been able to be there and to do that. So that for me, that's mostly one of the most happy, joyous moments, to be able to experience that with him.
If you could see my arm right now, I've got goosebumps everywhere. My God, what a powerful answer, Ian. When you think about your dad, what's the best memory that comes to your mind, if you can share?
Him standing on tables, dancing when we were in America together, and he was dancing and he got up on a table and he started just dancing on the table, and I've still got this vision of him with no care in the world, with the freedom, just dancing and enjoying himself and bringing joy to others, and just having lots of fun and being free and not caring and all of that. So for me, it's that freedom related to dance. He wasn't a dancer. I say he wasn't a professional dancer, but he loved dancing. He would have a little boogie. So I love those moments. Yeah.
Do you think one day you're gonna meet him again?
Do I think I'm going to be? I find myself. I'm a spiritual person. I believe in people, places, and things. The way that we're all connected and intertwined, and I believe one thing affects the other. Do I believe that I'm possibly going to meet him in a place called heaven? Most probably not. But do I believe that I'm going to be connected in some way? Yes.
Beautiful. Amazing. Next question. Let's do it. Okay. Next question for you is, would you ever get a tattoo, and what that would be?
I have one tattoo already.
Tell me about it.
I have one tattoo which I couldn't show on camera. So yes, so I got this tattoo when I was very, very young, and I got it in a very discreet place because the nature of my job as a performer, my body is always, a lot of the time I'm performing, when I was a dancer, I was performing where, a lot of the time in contemporary shows and shows I'd have no top on or very, very small like bottoms or even like just a jock type or little shorts. So I had one tattoo, which they should never allow somebody who wants a tattoo to design their own tattoo. And so I went, I like that tattoo and that tattoo. So we're going to mash them together and create a tattoo. So it's a really bad looking tribal seahorse. It wasn't meant to be that, but that's what it looks like. But I forget that I even have a tattoo until sometimes I go, oh God, yeah, I've still got a tattoo. Yeah.
What's the meaning of it? There's any meaning behind?
The meaning of that was like, this is like maybe 30 plus years ago, I got it done. Maybe 33 years ago, I got it done. And the meaning was 4 o'clock in the morning, very drunk on holiday. That was the meaning behind that. There was no meaning. And in all fairness, the person mostly shouldn't agree to have done it.
Do you think you're gonna do it another one other day or not?
Oh, if I do get another tattoo, I will go, because now I don't perform anymore. So therefore, my body is not judged. I don't need to morph into different characters and all these things. So for me to have tattoos now with what I do, it's not such an issue. So there has been a moment and moments that the thought has bubbled to the top that I think I'm going to go get a full sleeve or a full this. So if I do it this time, it will be big. I'm a true believer, go big or go home, when you can. So if I get one done, I'm going to go full out. More is more, less is a bore.
Love it. Love it. Saying that, when you think about Ian, when you think about yourself, what's the biggest joy of being you? What do you like the most about being Ian?
Ooh, what's the biggest joy of being? That's a really wonderful question. What's the joy of being? I feel like I'm very good at harboring and keeping relationships. I'm very good at connection. I'm a true believer that, if somebody comes into my life and they resonate with me and I resonate with them, I'm a true believer in fostering those relationships and building on those relationships. I'm quite good at that element. A lot of friends of mine goes, oh, you're really good at checking in with people, messaging people, going, how are you doing? Are you okay? But I think that's a nurture thing for me. I've always had a very, very nurturing personality. And and I think that resonates with people. So I think that's there's a nurturing nature to me.
And you've always been this way? Sorry.
I don't know. I think like the nature of what I've done throughout my career, I work in consent-based practice. I work with mental health. I'm a mental health first aider. All these elements of my life, I work, with conflict resolution, all these sort of things I do and work with, and they sort of work as a glove. So I've worked as a lecturer for 20 years. So I've always been people facing. I've always been in my career. I've always been in front of people and trying to get the best out of them for my job. And I think that just comes part and part of what I do. So, but that literally filters into my own life and peppers throughout that I'm quite a caring person, I would say. I'm quite, friends would say I'm quite thoughtful, I would say.
And which person in your life right now you feel more connected with or more close to?
Who do I feel most connected with and most close to? That would be my husband, 100%. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so your husband is watching this interview right now, and you have a moment, an opportunity to send him a message. What would you say? He's watching.
I would say, thank you for letting me be me.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Wow. How did your paths cross, if you can share?
Well, I moved to Scotland and I was in Scotland and we ended up meeting. This is 14 years ago, I think. Yeah,
Wow.
14 years ago. And we actually met online, as so many people do now.
Yeah.
We met online, but we actually spoke to each other for about 3.5 months online, just
Wow.
communicating. And then we went for our first date, which was a Sunday afternoon lunch. And then we arranged to meet 2 days later. So what was interesting was for me was uh, we really dated. Was a bit of a novelty to me. I don't think I'd really dated people before. So yeah, so I was really blessed that we actually went on many, many, many dates, and got to really know each other. It was
Beautiful.
very old school, very old school. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I think this old school time, it's the best because you get to know the person, like the real
Yeah.
person somehow. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, we went to the theater twice. We went to the cinema. We went out to restaurants. We went out bars, all dating before anything. So yeah, so it was really old school.
Who
Yeah.
fell in love first, in your opinion, do you think?
Sorry?
Who fell in love first?
Well, um, John said, I love you first. He said, I love you to me first.
Oh, sweet. Very
Yeah,
sweet.
there you go.
Next question, let's do it. Okay, so before the next question, tell me a little bit more about your podcast, Intimacy 360. So tell me when the idea came along.
So the idea came along. Obviously, I've been working as an intimacy practitioner, intimacy director. An intimacy director is somebody who works in live performance. An intimacy coordinator is somebody who works in TV and film. And I've been working in that area
Mm.
for the last few years. And for me, I don't know. I realized there wasn't a podcast out there where an intimacy practitioner spoke to other heads of departments like directors and producers, or even wardrobe department. And so I wanted to speak to many different departments because I wanted to get their view of how my job as an intimacy director, intimacy coordinator, affects what they do. So, and I wanted a lot of the people on the podcast may have had have had a lot of experience with working with intimacy, but not with an intimacy practitioner. So they may have been working as a director for many, many years and worked on a lot of plays and musicals that had full simulated sex or nudity, but had yet experienced working with an intimacy director. So I wanted to speak to many different departments and get their views on how they felt they could be best supported, and their views on what the good, the bad, and the ugly of what they'd experienced in the industry for themselves. So yeah, and I've just finished season. Well, I've actually got the last episode going out on Sunday, and that would be season 1 finished. That's 10 episodes. That
Wow.
is available on YouTube and all other channels. Intimacy 360. Go and watch. Like and subscribe.
Hey.
And yeah, so, and it's been really, really interesting. I decided just to make some phone calls and pull in, and pull it all together, and that's been it. So, and I will start filming and recording season 2 very soon. So yeah, it's been exciting.
Wow.
Great.
It's interesting. Yesterday it was the first time when I saw your profile and showed my feed, and I was like, my God, that's very interesting. And I was kind of checked some clips. I was like, that's very interesting. I think something I've never seen before, actually. I've seen different podcasts, different topics, but something in this regarding this area, it was very, I got my attention straight away. I was like, okay, let's see if you're going to accept my invitation. And here we are.
There you go. And what I love about the intimacy, this has been what has been really interesting about the podcast. A lot of people who are following it are not in TV, film, or theatre. That's not their area, the area they work. But they're really enjoying understanding what happens behind the camera and all those moments. Also, I interview people like an incredible lady, Rachel, who is doing her PhD in Shakespeare. So we're looking about intimacy and the history with intimacy in Shakespeare and Shakespeare studies. So really, really interesting. I mean, yeah, a great, great podcast, that one. Love it.
Hey, next question is, what is the most difficult thing have you ever done?
The most difficult thing I've ever done. I mean, I believe we're all on different paths, and we all experience many, many difficult moments in our life. And for me, they lead me onto different paths or a bridge or wherever they take me. And I've had many moments, like most people, where I've came across things that I thought, this is such a difficult thing. But I try to reframe everything I do and try and think, okay, it may be difficult, but what can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? And how can I allow it to propel me forward? So even in the moments of and in those moments that have been difficult in my life, I've tried to use them in the best way I can. What I'm trying to think now, what has been to this date, what has been the most difficult? God, because difficult comes on so many different levels. Yeah, I think one of the most difficult things I've ever done, and without realizing it, this is the thing. I decided to leave home very, very young and move to London, from Essex to London on my own. And it would have been difficult, but I was so relentless and fearless. But I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't conscious of that. I just knew that for me to be my best possible self, I needed to move away from where I lived, and where I gravitated to, obviously, London, and I wanted to build myself a career and a life there. And I did that at a very, very, very young age on my own, like 16. So, and I've lived on my own. I got my own flat at that age. So very independent and very self-driven. But was it at that time, especially one of the most difficult things I did? But at the time, it didn't feel difficult. It just felt like the right thing to do, what I needed to do. So I'm proud of myself when I look back at myself at that age, that I did that. And I guess it was, I mean, I didn't even know that I had to, I got a flat and I didn't realize I even had to pay bills. That's how green I was. And then suddenly I was like, poll tax back then, and, all these things, and gas, electric. And suddenly I was like, my mind blown. So yes. And then it's just called suddenly having to adult.
You just threw yourself, okay, that's the adult life. Just go for it.
Yeah,
That's it.
just go for it. Yeah. I'm an all or nothing type of person.
Amazing. How old were you at the time?
Well, how old was I then when I moved? When I first started to save up my money to move to London, I was 15 years old. And I moved to London when I was like 16, really. Yeah.
Wow, beautiful. 3 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, next question is, what bores you?
What bores me? What bores me? That's a really, really good question. Technology, which is crazy because we're sitting here with computers. I've got a microphone. I've got a ring light. I've got all these different things that I use for my job every day. But I find all these additional things that I need to do my job, I find them an absolute bore. I just want to get creative, get on with my job and do what I do and create. But all these other elements around the underpinning of that bore me. But I need to do them.
What's the meaning of life for you, Ian?
Happiness.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Meaning of life is connection, happiness, and for me, happiness can come in many different shapes and forms. It's not about being rich or being this or being that or being popular or being, for me, happiness can be very nuanced and very small. Some of my most happiest moments have been so subtle and not huge gestures and all these wonderful things. So for me, the meaning of life is about laughing, having fun, being happy, and sometimes just pressing the button. Sometimes don't overthink it, just go and do it anyway, because you know what? It is one life. We only get one stab at it, one moment to enjoy it. So we're living in our bodies. So we all need to start enjoying our bodies and being proud of what they are, because this is the only vessel you've got, and making the most of what we've got.
It's the biggest gift that we ever have. So life, it's the biggest one. So let's enjoy it the most we can.
I agree completely. Completely.
2 questions left. Let's do it. Okay, before the next question, what's the biggest joy of being a dancer, choreographer, a performer? So tell me what's the biggest joy of it and the most challenging parts.
Okay, so for me, the biggest joy of doing what I do as a career is I got to do my dream job. Not many people get to actually, I know so many wonderful, incredible, talented people who get up and go out and graft on it really hard, and they're not doing their dream job, but they are earning an honest crust, an honest life, and they're working really hard. And absolutely, that's incredible. I'm very fortunate that I get to get up every day when I go to work and I'm working in an industry and doing what I dreamed of doing. And I'm lucky, I've only ever worked in this industry. I've only got to do what I've wanted to do. And I know I'm incredibly lucky to do that, because I know that 90% of people on this planet do not get to get up every day and go to work and do their dream job. So I'm very, very blessed. And what comes with the challenge of my job is extremely physical. And as you get older, your body changes. So when I'm dancing and choreographing like today and I throw myself around, I look in the mirror and go, God, who's that? Because, it doesn't matter how well you look after yourself, how well you train, how, you process the way that you work, your body is changing. So you have no choice but to change with it as a physical practitioner. I have no choice but to accept it, roll with it, enjoy it, and not give myself too much of a hard time. But for me, that's the most challenging, that my body does not do. I'm 50 this year. My body does not do what it used to do 30 years ago. And it shouldn't, but my brain does a lot more now than it used to do 30 years. So that's the trade-off. Absolutely.
Okay, you're gonna be 50 this year. So tell me, how do you feel about it? Any celebration? How do you like enjoying your birthdays? Tell me a little bit about it.
I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm in the midst of with me and my husband and some friends creating the plan. We've got a plan of what we're going to be doing.
Amazing.
My birthday's on New Year's Eve. So there's always a celebration on New Year's Eve anyway, and every year fireworks go off. My husband go, "Oh, I got you fireworks." So yes, so we just celebrated my husband's 50th. We were in Vietnam, which was lovely for his. And mine, I think we're just firming up the plans right now. So I'm not going to say what they are just yet, but we're just firming up what the plans are. And I'm very excited, and it will be a lot. I'm really excited about turning 50. Same as when I turned 40. It's a privilege. I'm lucky. When I'm turning 50, it doesn't worry me. I'm actually quite excited to move into that phase of life and enjoy it and take it for what it is,
Beautiful. Great. Next question is, what was your favorite part about school?
Not going. Do you know what? I'm a lot of my friends, if they watch this, are gonna know, but I have very little memory of school. I think I was frantically, I'm very dyslexic. So, and obviously that was undiagnosed back then, and nobody even heard of the word dyslexic or dyslexia. And I think I was treading water the whole time I was at school, and built up a lot of masking techniques to not be seen as, stupid or anything like that. And I was very creative, but the written element of it and learning languages, all of that just for me was torture, absolute torture, because it was undiagnosed and all these things, and they didn't exist. People didn't understand that then. So for me, I grabbed my joy in the moments of like drama and sport and whatever moments that didn't have to pick up a pen and paper. So the best part for me was school was when I got to go home. That's the God's honest truth. And it's interesting. So, I actually don't even remember doing exams.
Oh, wow.
I don't even remember doing my exams. I have no recollection whatsoever of sitting there during an exam. I
Wow.
then I've gone on to go to college and then do another postgrad and then I've got qualifications left, right, and center now. But then I just literally have no recollection of actually, maybe I didn't turn up for them. Maybe I didn't go. Who knows?
It was imagination, maybe.
I actually don't have any recollection of actually going to do any exams. So maybe I must have done some.
Last question, ready?
Yes.
Let's do it. Last question. Okay, before the last question, I'm going to ask a question in two parts. The first part of the question is, of course, through your career, I'm sure you have moments that for you always going to have a special place in your heart, in your mind, in your memory. Maybe some challenge, maybe some beautiful moments. But tell me one moment that for you, it's the moment that you're never going to forget, that is going to be there always in your mind or in your heart for any reason. And the second part of the question is, if you could choose anyone in the world to choreograph their world tour, yeah? Anyone, you have the power. Okay, I'm gonna, somebody contacts you, you'd love to pick up the phone one day and to be this person tell you know what, Ian, I want you to choreograph this world tour that we're gonna start right now. So tell me, two questions.
So the first one, the biggest moment that I feel like in my career,
for any reason, could be good or bad or challenge or for any reason, always gonna be there.
For me, one of the biggest moments in my career was very, very fortunate that when I was leaving college, I got to work with an incredible theatre producer called David Pugh, who is one of the top theatre producers in the world today. He has many, many Tony Awards, many, many Olivier Awards, and I will always be eternally grateful to him because he gave me my first professional job, and I've worked with him over all of the years from then right till now, to still working with him to this day on many shows. I have shows out at the moment. I've got Brief Encounter, Greatest Days, all these different shows, many of which he's produced. So I feel very grateful to have met David Pugh because he changed my life in that sense.
Beautiful.
And if I was able to pick up the phone now to answer a call, to work on a production or a show that I was going to get choreographed for somebody, who would it be? Do you know what? I'm going to go with, just because I think it'll be an absolute scream and a laugh to choreograph, I'm going to go with Madonna. So Madonna. Wow. Yeah, because I could go down the arty route and choreograph something contemporary, this, that, or a big musical or that. But you know what? If I was going to get to choreograph a show, but it'd be like old school Madonna, back in the 90s, Vogue, all these different things. So that would be, almost like her celebration tour that was out last year, which I was fortunate to see when I was in Paris. And that would have been a fun show to choreograph because it was all the greatest hits. That would just be a good old fun camp fest. Lots of fun.
So tell me, which one will be the opening of her concert, and which one will be the closing one?
Okay. Wow. I
love it.
Oh, trying to create now her set list. I'm sure she'd get to choose her own set list. The choreographer wouldn't get that choice. But
by the way, she's watching. Okay, she's watching now. She's waiting for your answer.
Absolutely. So if that was the case, then for me, maybe start off with. God, see, I love Vogue, but maybe that's coming in too hard at the beginning of the show. God, it's a hard one. Oh, God, I'm really having to think now because there's so many.
Take your time.
Oh, okay. So, maybe Celebration, right? just start off with that. Then I would say, I don't know if I can finish on Vogue. It's so iconic. I don't know. Oh, do you know what? We're going to start a celebration, go near the end, go with erotica.
Wow.
And do a new mix of her Vogue with, I don't know, I feel like it could be a mashup between Vogue and something else. I'd need to have a think on that one. But the day that Madonna allows the choreographer to choose a set list would be incredible, but I don't think we'd ever get the opportunity. But yeah, but she would just be, I mean, you know, she'd be fun to work with.
I can see that Vogue is one of your favorite top
Well,
music.
Vogue for me was when I first, when I was in London and I first went out to, you know, when I was in the clubs and all of that when I was young and bouncing off the walls in all the clubs I shouldn't have legally been in. I just loved, I felt like I found my tribe, I found my people, I found a community, I found life, love, and acceptance. So it underpins my childhood.
Wow, beautiful. Okay. Last question is, what does success mean to you?
Success to me in life is being, success for me personally is intuitively being able to handle situations that used to baffle me and being able to be happy, content, joyous, and free.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Ian, it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Okay, let's start with money.
Opportunity.
Fear.
Self.
Family.
Love.
Life.
Laughter.
Love.
Love, did you say?
Yeah. Yeah.
Love. Connected.
Religion.
That's a really hard one. Disruptive.
Sex.
This is an interesting one because I work within sex, like obviously as an intimacy coordinator, but I'm trying to think sex. For me, sex, freedom.
Wow. Politics.
Complicated.
Friendship.
Abundance.
Desire.
Disruptive.
Wow, I like that actually. I like that. Danger, I would say as well.
I agree.
Regret.
Okay.
Success.
Limitless.
Wish.
Action.
Happiness.
Life.
One word for London.
Seed.
I like that. Wow. One word for Glasgow.
Love.
One word for intimacy coordinator.
Oh God, there's so many words I want to use. I'm just trying to pin it down to one, encapsulate what we do and the importance of it in one word. Oh. Imperative.
Wow. One word for choreographer.
Creative.
Wow. And the last one now, one word for your podcast, Intimacy 360.
Does it have to be one word? One word for Intimacy 360. Subscribe.
Like it. Actually, one word from Madonna.
Queen.
Wow. Let's play now, Ian, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before you ask me the question, of course, I could be here just another hour, just talking about, your work as an intimacy coordinator. My God, when you were describing a little bit, I was like, my God, what is the technique that he used? What they need to know before doing the scene? What the stigma that people they think that happened but doesn't? What's something that happened that people they don't know? So can you just tell me something like maybe a curiosity, something that people are not expecting when this scene is happening, or maybe question that people always ask you, something about it that you find very interesting, if you could share?
Well, a lot of what you've just said, people will be able to get the answers to on the podcast, Intimacy 360. But in a nutshell, one of the things a lot of people don't realize is I am choreographing with consent-based practice and working with not just cast but crew too. People think we're just there to advocate for the cast. We are there for the crew too. And the job is multifaceted. So there's a lot of paperwork, a lot of risk assessments, choreography, working with directors, working with the actual artists, working with costume, lighting, sound, makeup, all these different departments we work with, and we liaise and discuss with all these different departments. And and then obviously we go to choreograph the intimate scenes, working with masking techniques, working with consent-based practice, and working with we work with so many different departments that people don't realize. And then obviously choreographing on the day, but there's also aftercare as well. So there's a full arc of working on a production that people don't see. It's a massive big, I always say that when I'm on set or most of my best work's done before I get on set. Like there's so many check-ins and one-to-ones and all these moments of connection before we even get to creating the choreography on the day or in the rehearsal.
Next time I'm gonna see a theater, a play, or a movie, and I see an erotic scene, I'm gonna think about you. I think, wow, what they're doing? How did they do that? I'm gonna be wondering. Anyway, you can ask me a question now, Ian.
I would love to know, in any TV series or any film you've ever watched, what is your most favorite intimate moment?
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting this question. And by the way, I love movies. I go to the cinemas every weekend. That's my therapy of the week.
Amazing.
Literally. Oh my God, you put me right in the spot. Okay. It's a scene that I saw recently and I wasn't expecting to be this way. I'm sure you see Baby Girl with Nicole Kidman. I don't know if you saw it.
I haven't seen it yet. I've heard lots and lots and lots.
Right.
I haven't seen it.
I'll tell you something about it. I was fascinated about the movie. I knew that would be something sexual. I knew that, yeah, but I wasn't expecting to be the way it was. And I was excited about it because I love Nicole Kidman. I think every movie she plays, I see a different person. She always made me believe that it's not her, it's somebody else. And, I was like, my God, how's it going to be? I knew it would be, older woman, CEO, with a younger man, this and that. And there are two scenes there. The first one, when they got crossed for the very first time, the way he looked at her, the way he I could see the something there. I was like, my God, they made me believe that was literally something there. But there was a scene that I couldn't believe. Actually, I was watching that in the cinema, and it was a lot of couples, people around me, and I was like, I felt a bit uncomfortable, but when you go like, oh my God, you know what I mean? This scene, it when he was literally, teaching her, like touching her,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And for me, that I never seen that before, and the way she was expressing as well.
Yes.
Literally, I felt excited, I felt embarrassed, I felt, all those feelings around I had in this scene, because first was her playing like Nicole. I was like, wow. And suddenly I could see his face as well. I could see, the conjunction between both of them together. It was, I'm sure, like, very well how they did the whole thing together. But literally, I was like, I felt so embarrassed. I was looking down because, my God, how did they do that? Because it looks so real, and literally, as I said, made me feel embarrassed. I felt really excited. I was like, wow, that's a beautiful thing to be watching at the same time. Very real. That's the right word, was real.
Well,
Yeah.
that's obviously what, you know, working as an intimacy practitioner, that's what we aim for, is for things to look real. And the interesting thing is when you have consent-based practice in place and actors feel comfortable, they're able to really go there and give their best work because they're not worried that a hand's going to go somewhere they wasn't expecting or somewhere they hadn't agreed. And
Yeah.
therefore it allows them to actually be present in the moment in what they're doing and not thinking
Oh,
about, "Oh, you know,
yeah. Yeah.
because, you know, it's funny, a lot of people go, oh, why do you have intimacy directors and coordinators? I mean, surely they can just get on with it. But people don't say that to a stunt. And, you know, so like, you know, when you're doing a stunt, you know, people, you know, it's all choreographed. And people go, oh, but does it not just stop the process? But as an actor, you have to hit your mark. You have to say the lines. You have to learn your lines. These are all elements. With intimacy, it's just another element that you put in there. And once you do that, you really end up with a lovely, seamless scene that looks real.
Totally. I live. That's why I felt embarrassed one moment. Like not for me, but because there was couple, and I could see couples like making, like I could, and I was like, I was alone, but I was like, anyway. That's my answer. That's my answer. And actually, one of the latest one. And I lit again. I think, as I said to you, felt real. Yeah, felt really real for her expression, his expression, the movements, the way they were. I was like, wow, literally, wow. I'm gonna ask a question. I don't know if it's appropriate, but you don't need to answer, and actually can I always can cut that. It's a personal curiosity. The actors, it can happen something with their bodies, the reaction to their bodies, that they can be embarrassed or it happen or not. Like, it can
So,
happen.
well, at the end of the day, when we've got actors who are working, we may have something choreographed, maybe in a rehearsal, and they are going there. And now you've got to remember your soft tissue and your biology, although you're acting, that doesn't know that you're acting. So
Right.
your body is wonderful and incredible vessel, and it will respond in certain ways.
I
I
see.
always say, just because the wind blows and you get hard nipples does not mean you're turned on. Your body can respond in many wonderful, great ways. So this is
Right.
why we always have we're working in a closed set. We also have timeout, and timeout only works if when you say timeout, you don't have to explain why. And it can be because people, bodies can respond or react in certain ways. So,
I it's okay to keep this part. It's okay to keep
yes,
it.
of course,
Oh my
absolutely.
god, I love that timeout. I like that.
Yeah,
I
you've got to
didn't.
have time. Absolutely. So we always have a physical and an audible
Wow.
timeout mode. And anybody can just go time out, then we need to stop and they need to do whatever they need to do. We don't have need to explain why, it could be for whatever reasons. But your body, you're talking with soft tissue, your body and your biology sometimes is not going to know that you're acting. So and we are working with professionals. And we've built up a rehearsal process, and all these things are put into place so actors feel safe to be able to do their best work. And if they do need to call halt to action on a closed set for these reasons, then they can. Absolutely.
Wow. You made my day now, Ian. I'll always remember that. It was a curiosity that I always had.
Yes.
But of course, I always thought, okay, there's a work behind what the work you do. Of course, there's something. But I was like, do they feel like, as you said, it's your body
Yeah.
reacting.
I mean, a lot of the time when you see an intimate scene on camera, there is in a room a closed set, you've got a boom operator, you've got the first AD, you've got the director, maybe they may be on monitor outside the room, but there's a closed set, but there's still quite a few people in there, but so, and you may be shooting it from the wide, the single shot, close up, you're shooting so many different times. It's not as should we say exciting and sexy as you think it would be, and you're doing choreography, although they're going for it and acting, and cut and then reset, and then we end up going again and again and again and again. So it's a lot of stopping and starting, stopping and starting. So it's not as it can be very physical and very sweaty and very hot and very but it's not necessarily sexy. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Did you enjoy the interview?
I did. I've had a great day. I've had a great evening. It's been fun. It has. Been
Thanks
very
again, Ian. Thanks for taking the time. Thanks for being so open and kind as well to accept my invitation. I know you are a busy man and you make the time for the interview. And before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
More is more, less is a bore, and just press the button sometimes and just enjoy life. There you go. That's the real, life's for living, and laughter and love, and we should not get too serious, and be kind to one another. And it's important that we do reach out to everybody we know, because life can be difficult and you don't know people are struggling. So be kind, to one another, really.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, thanks again. It was a pleasure.
No worries.
Regards to your husband. Enjoy your birthday when it comes.
I will do.
Keep in touch, okay? Take care.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.